The wheel of the year has turned at last, conjuring memories up from the past. The mother a circle, the father a line, the journey a spiral as these two combine. As bodies in heaven turn and revolve, so do our spirits as we do evolve. Each year we go around the wheel of the year, we move closer to love and farther from fear. And as the cosmic clock does turn, along our own journeys, we live and we learn. There's something about September that bids me to remember, to take a break from the daily grind, to see what beauty I may find. Now's the time to pause and breathe, to gaze upon the changing leaves. I see my first red leaf today. Tomorrow it will fade away. The autumn season doesn't last. It's here today, then gone so fast. The squirrels collecting nuts and seeds to stash away for winter needs. Chestnut, walnut, pine cone, acorn, pumpkin, apple, barley, sweet corn. The harvest time means gratitude, to have a thankful attitude. Merry meet and gather friends to celebrate as summer ends. The autumn equinox is near, a magical time on the wheel of the year. Waning day and waxing night, we bid farewell to the fading light. A time of balance and calibration, a time of feast and celebration. We gather together now to say we're thankful on this autumn day. Deck the halls with ears of corn, let new traditions now be born. Go pumpkin picking in the fields, rejoice in what the harvest yields. Pluck an apple from the bough, be present in the here and now. It's time to turn our gaze inside, such intuition the fall provides. And as the days begin to cool, the time has come for back to school. A teacher now, yet forever a student. Life's a classroom, and learning is prudent. September plays a sacred song for those who care to hum along. The sun, our father, and the earth, our mother, are forever waltzing with one another. In the forest by the stream, reflections of the colors gleam. Tiptoe upon the forest floor and see what nature has in store. It's nature's time of slowing down as leaves are drifting to the ground. So slow it down, take a breath, remember life shall follow death. The leaves now falling on the earth become spring soil for seeds to birth. And so it is with everything, for life's a cycle, a circle, a ring. We reap what we sow and sow what we reap. The seeds which we plant are the crops we will keep. So walk your path upon this earth. Be grateful for your home and hearth. Merry part will meet as friends when the wheel of the year has turned again. The autumn equinox, also known as Mabon, is the second harvest, celebrated around September 21st in the Northern Hemisphere. The word equinox means equal night, referring to the way there are 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness on both the autumn and spring equinoxes. But at the autumn equinox, the long days are ending to make way for the darker, colder half of the year. My favorite themes to focus on during the weeks surrounding the 20th of September are balance, gratitude, and preparation. Balance. Mirroring the way that the darkness and the light are in equal balance, this is the perfect time to pause from our daily shuffle and to do some recalibrating. The checkpoints on the wheel of the year serve as reminders to periodically take stock of where we're at in life. Now is the time to look back upon what we've been up to over the summer and decide how we want to spend our winter and which habits to bring in or cast out of our lives as we move into the next chapter of the year. Some questions to ask yourself around the theme of balance this season. Which areas of my life feel like they need to be balanced? What are some actionable steps I can take to create more balance in these areas starting now? Where can I celebrate having already achieved balance? I recently learned from my friend Tanae that because of my Gemini rising sign, summer is my personal spring and fall is my personal summer. This makes so much sense because I tend to be quite creative and ambitious during these times. All summer, I've been very dedicated to updating just about everything in my life and business, and so as we make the transition into autumn, I'd like to gradually begin slowing down more and shifting to more relaxed, cozy vibes for the late fall into winter ahead. As my own boss, I typically have a boundary with myself where I don't work at all, other than perhaps filming things that I'm doing on Saturdays and Sundays. But since I had so many big goals over the summer and knew it was going to be a time in my energy cycle when I'd have the energy to accomplish a lot, I've temporarily allowed myself to bend that guideline when I feel like it's the ideal thing to do. So although I still have some goals for the end of the year and some creative energy available, I'm going to be reinstating that weekend no work boundary at the equinox to at least make sure I'm getting that process started. That being said, I can definitely celebrate feeling a lot more balanced in my life overall compared to last year. Last year this time, I was feeling kind of disappointed with where I was at, particularly around the theme of it being harvest season. With the rather bare patio with only some sad potted herbs from the grocery store and a few tattered tomatoes, there really wasn't much of anything to harvest from my physical garden. This also kind of served as a bit of a metaphor for how I felt about my life in general at the time. I felt like I had put in a lot of work on the inside, but still wasn't seeing anywhere near the level of abundance or fulfillment on the outside that I felt I deserved. Literally speaking, I hadn't put very much energy into my garden because I didn't have the time, energy, or resources available while I was focusing so acutely on healing my financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual health after a dark night of the soul that had lasted for nearly 2 years. I was actively improving my health as well as the interior of my home, and it even extended outward to updating my wardrobe and beauty regimen. But the actual exterior of my home didn't end up being on the front burner with everything else I had going on. Around the autumn equinox, I set the intention that by the following year that time, I would have a lot more to show for all of the work that I had put in more tangible ways. I wanted to see more of an external harvest in ways that were more grounded in the earth element, namely in the areas of both tangible resources and garden plants to harvest in the fall. I began rebalancing the elements, both physically and esoterically speaking, to create the space and take the inspired action necessary to truly see different results in my immediate environment by the following harvest season. In that process, I've learned that my relationship with the earth element as a whole needed to be balanced between the physical realm and the energy realm. I had been desiring more tangible resources so that I could experience more of the things that make me feel abundant in life. So rather than continuing to let lack of resources like time, energy, money, support, etc. stop me from doing the things that made me feel abundant, I instead prioritized allowing myself to feel, act, and experience as if I were already more successful. So with that manifestation hack in mind, I asked myself, what would I be doing with my life if I weren't always busy rebuilding my business and consuming educational content about spirituality and manifestation? Well, I'd be connecting with nature and the energy of hearth and home more. So that's exactly what I leaned further into. Themes that fit perfectly into the themes of the autumn equinox. And I can happily say that since that time, in the past year, I've seen major tangible growth in my career and financial goals, but also in my home and garden. Much like my personal and business goals, there's of course still so much more that I'd love to experience, achieve, and grow in my garden. But the development between where I was a year ago versus where I am now is clear, obvious, and exponential, both in my garden and in the other areas of my life. And I'm so grateful for that, which leads to our next theme, which is gratitude. Many refer to the autumn equinox as the pagan Thanksgiving. It's the second harvest on the wheel of the year, between the 1st of August and the 1st of November. In agricultural times, this second harvest would have been when the hardy crops were brought in to prepare for winter. Long before the American Thanksgiving holiday, autumn has always been a time to celebrate the abundance of the harvest, enjoying the fruits of our labor, and sharing of our fortune with others. Those of us who are into conscious manifestation also know that the first step to attracting more abundance into our lives is to be thankful for the blessings we already have, and to be generous with others. So some questions to ask yourself around the theme of gratitude this season. What are 10 things that I'm grateful for in my life right now, and why are they so valuable to me? What are 3 ways I can share of my abundance with others this season, or in the season ahead? I'm grateful that I've developed a healthier and more abundant relationship with my current home, because I deserve to feel supported and grow into my best self regardless of where I am or what's going on around me. I'm grateful for my partner because not only is he a walking reminder of my ability to manifest miracles, but he's also supported me to expand my capacity to receive and be in my feminine energy in every area of life. I'm grateful for my family because even though we're not perfect, we've come a long way in learning to not only respect each other despite our differences, but also to better appreciate one another as the very different people we've all grown up to become. I'm grateful for myself that I've been brave, determined, and resourceful enough to do the difficult work of healing through a dark night of the soul, rather than letting the darkness of the world and of my inner self take away my inner spark. I'm grateful for my cat Mowgli, who's been healthy, happy, and cancer-free for 3 years now after his amputation. I knew intuitively that he was meant to live, and I'm so glad that I listened to that inner knowing, rather than letting things like money and discouragement from others, including the doctor, stop me from making the right choice for him. I'm grateful that I've prioritized using some of my creative energy this year to create some things that were just for me, like fully redecorating my bathroom as a shrine to the divine feminine water element, and finding a new hair routine that's both healthy for my hair and perfectly suits my style. I'm grateful that all of the seemingly enormous challenges that got thrown at me this year have panned out in my favor. Not only because it's a relief in general, but just as much because all these things have been clear evidence of how following my intuition instead of my fear always works out in my favor. I'm grateful that I've surpassed my monthly goal on Patreon as soon as I listened to the intuitive nudge to start doing my seasonal challenges again, but this time only for those who are supporting me financially, so that I can truly show up for them with my best energy, and so we can all actually have fun. I'm grateful that I've been healthier physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually this year, and have experienced almost a complete 180 from the dark place I was in the previous few years. And of course, I'm immensely grateful for how much my YouTube channel has grown this year, and for all of the lovely people who have taken time to watch, comment, and subscribe. It's so satisfying to know that there are other people out there in the world who care about things like seasons, elements, and personal development, and who appreciate the energy that I put out into the world. 3 ways I intend to share of my abundance with others this year are: 1, to post more conversational podcast episodes where I chat with my magical friends and colleagues specifically about their perspectives on living seasonally. Because I'm blessed to be connected to some of the most wise and magical people in the world, and I want more people to hear their message and to generate more mutual support for the ideas and causes that I believe benefit the world most. 2, to host seasonal challenges for all 8 seasons in the year ahead, so that my patrons on Patreon can benefit from tapping into the healing energy of the plant tend harvest compost cycle, and can connect with other magical people, whether or not they happen to have access to witchy friends in person. And 3, to offer extra affordable options to work with me for tarot readings and creative brainstorming for the year ahead to those who have been along for the journey thus far before raising my prices in the fall. With all the work I've done and the time, energy, and money I've invested in the past few years into healing my own stuff, honing my intuitive skills, and developing advanced personal development methods, it's high time I start paying myself more. But I also wanted to give community members the opportunity to get a single reading at the old price first, or to bundle together 2 or more readings for the year ahead at up to 20% off, to express my gratitude to those who have supported me on my journey thus far. And yes, that includes you. So if you've been curious about what could open up for you in your own leveling up journey when we put our heads together, then this is your invitation. My tarot readings and creative brainstorming sessions are designed to help you tap into your intuition so you can more easily align your choices with your highest good. So now through the autumn equinox, I'm inviting you to work with me as you say goodbye to any 2022 baggage and become a magnet to your desires for the year to come. To celebrate the equinox, the season of gratitude and harvesting our blessings, I've decided to not only offer you the opportunity to work with me before the prices go up, but also to offer some additional discounts. So now through September 23rd, 2022, I invite you to bundle together 2 or more tarot readings for the year ahead for up to 20% off the old prices. These packages are specially designed to offer you intuitive guidance through the next year, specifically between now and the autumn equinox of 2023. You can reserve anywhere from 2 readings to be done 6 months apart, up to 12 readings, 1 for each month. And if you're a seasonal witch like me, you'll love the 8 reading bundle where I do a reading for you for each of the 8 Sabbats. These discounted bundles will be going away when I update my pricing on September 23rd, 2022, and my prices will never be this low again. And of course, to honor my energy and my capacity, I may close the cart early depending on how many readings get sold in the week ahead. Are you ready to take the guesswork out of your up-leveling journey and start getting regular check-ins and wisdom from your higher self as well as a loving fellow witch? If so, then I invite you to check out the link below to reserve your year ahead readings. And this perfectly leads into our last theme for the autumn equinox, which is preparation. In the midst of celebrating the abundance of the harvest, we must also accept that winter is coming. This time of year, we acknowledge the duality of nature. It's a reminder of the law of polarity. For every summer, there's a winter. For every day, there's a night. For every flow, there's an ebb. For every life, there's a death. For every full moon, there's a new moon. For every ovulation, there's a menstruation. For every element, zodiac, and modality, there's its natural opposite. And for every action, there is required rest. The autumn equinox is a great time to do some fall cleaning, making our lives cozy and comfortable for the colder, darker seasons ahead. As we're preparing to spend more time indoors, so too do we begin to turn our gaze inward spiritually. The autumn equinox, being the transition from Virgo to Libra season, contains the same themes as the September back-to-school concept. Amidst these signs related to being analytical, organized, and open-minded is an excellent opportunity to begin a new academic endeavor. So some questions to ask yourself around the theme of preparation this season. Which areas of my life could use some preparation and improvement? In which subject am I choosing to delve deeper into in my studies? And what can I do to make my home more cozy this fall? One very specific area of my life that could use some preparation and improvement is my office/studio. I've made a lot of progress in designing other areas of my home to better reflect who I am and the life I'm choosing to live, but the office has kind of been neglected in some ways. To give myself credit where credit is due, it's been a hugely transitional couple of years for me when it comes to my business and my creative process, among other things. And so I've given myself a lot of well-deserved grace and wiggle room as things were getting rearranged and sorted out. But it's time to get things organized, cleaned up, and perhaps most importantly, leveled up. In the past, I've done a better job of keeping my work area relatively neat, organized, and aesthetically pleasing because I used to live in spaces where my workspace had to double as an entertainment area. But one of the non-negotiables in manifesting this current apartment was that it was a proper 2-bedroom, where one whole room with a door on it could serve as my office/studio. It's been a huge blessing to be able to strengthen my work-life balance with this separate room. But the downside has been that I could easily let this room become a total mess that I was then enabled to walk away from and close the door upon when I needed to escape the reality of it. And admittedly, this has also kind of been the last part of my home where I've continued to procrastinate about decorating and upgrading, functionally speaking. You see, I had always intended for this apartment to be a temporary stepping stone on the way to something far more compatible and more permanent, which it is. But since life threw a lot of curveballs at me since moving in, I've ended up living here a little bit longer than I'd originally intended. For a long time, I continued my old pattern since college of avoiding putting too much energy into making a space my own, knowing that I'd be moving soon enough and wouldn't want to have too much stuff to move or any noticeable wear and tear that might compromise my security deposit, or make it at all difficult to just pick up and go anytime. But I've gradually learned over time that all manifestation and life experience happens in the present moment. And by continuing to push my success into the future by telling myself that I'd have a proper office/studio one day when I have my own house to build onto and decorate as I please, I was perpetuating the energy of not being there yet. So this fall and winter, I've set the intention to start treating my office/studio more like I would if I owned my own home, which comes along with some shadow work, which of course crosses over with other areas of my life as well. For example, it's helping me to shine light on the shadow of always feeling like I don't really belong anywhere, and that I therefore shouldn't put down roots, or, drill holes into the walls. This is also intrinsically linked to the lack mindset of feeling like I don't have enough energy, resources, or support needed to compromise my security deposit, get help with building or repairs, or have enough pairs of hands when it does come time to move. All things that I've experienced in the past that have created a little bit of trauma around the whole concept of domesticity. And of course, this all also comes back to the shadow of trust. On a literal, tangible level, I have to update my beliefs, habits, and patterns to better reflect the fact that I have manifested more people and resources into my life that offer help and support in all of the above areas, and most importantly, that I can trust them to follow through. And on a more subconscious, energetic level, this is a metaphor or a microcosm of my ability to trust in myself and the universe overall. To truly believe that when the time does come to move, I will be an energetic vibrational match to the money, tools, and support that I need to make that transition much smoother than what I've experienced in the past. I'm not the same person I was when I moved in here, and so I'm sure that the actual process of the move will reflect that, because that's how magic works. As within, so without. So in short, I'm finally extending the notion of grow where you're planted into this last room of my house where I've been resisting accepting what is or making it my own for whatever remaining time I have left here. And as for what subjects I intend to delve deeper into for back to school vibes, I've definitely been feeling called towards astrology. As you may know, I've been somewhat passively interested in astrology for many years, and I've had a functional knowledge of certain aspects of it, but I've never fully dove into it until this year. I've been taking courses on it, and I'm now beginning to finally step into my long-awaited intention to start including more astrology in both my behind-the-scenes projects for myself and my business, and in my outward work in the world. That's why I've now structured our Patreon discussion prompts to include information on both the moon phases and the zodiac signs of each new and full moon for the year ahead, along with actionable invitations on how to utilize their energy to actually experience more freedom, flow, and fulfillment in our lives as we go about our seasonal living and manifesting ventures. Astrology is one of those things where there's always so much more to learn, so I'll definitely be continuing my studies both within the courses I'm taking and through other resources, and incorporating what I'm learning into both my free and paid content more and more in the year ahead. And the fall season, with all the Virgo and Libra energy, two signs that I didn't think I related to much until I learned more about my chart and realized that they're very important parts of my chart, it's the perfect time to cozy up to learning more about this vast subject of astrology. So what are your favorite things about the autumn equinox season? Are you planning to journal on any of the topics from this video? If so, I would love to invite you to join me for a seasonal journaling adventure this fall. Here's how. First, you can just download the printable PDF files of the grimoire pages you saw in this video from the Writing Witch shop. Your download will include all of the autumn equinox information discussed in this video, as well as journal prompts and space to write about your own relationship with the season. You also get access to 4 different printing options: color and black and white. The black and white version is a great option for saving ink and decorating the pages yourself, as well as both binder sheets and a smaller folded book template for junk journaling. You get to print these out as many times as you want for your own personal use, so if you want to do a binder in color this year for an instant beautiful option, you can. And then next year, if you decide you want to get more crafty with it, you can print the junk journal templates instead, or the black and white versions, and start painting or coloring in your book of shadows. The possibilities are endless. Doing these same journal prompts each year in different journals or as binder refills has helped me and my Writing Witch patrons to up-level our capacity to experience fulfillment each year, and I want you to get to experience this magic as well. Are you also looking to connect with myself and other magical mavens as you embody your most fulfilled version of yourself this season? If so, I would love to invite you to join us on Patreon. If you choose to join any tier by September 30th, 2022, you'll get to access my Autumn Equinox themed journal pages. And if you choose to support me at any of the higher tiers, you also get additional printables and/or access to my full course on how to manifest the most possible fulfillment for the fall season. And in our Patreon community, we'll be doing our early autumn seasonal living challenge, connecting with kindred spirits and responding to discussion prompts together. So I hope to see you there. Mabon blessings to you, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to join me and my friend Tanae Stewart, the Witch of Lupine Hollow, next week for our free Empowered Modern Witches Summit, Self-Care with the Sun, Moon, and Stars. To learn more about these subjects, check out this video right here.